Okay, so now we get to the absolute core strategy inside Product Launch Formula, and that's what I call the sideways sales letter. So if you're brand new to Product Launch Formula, that might be like, what does that mean? That sounds pretty weird. And so, well, I told you, in the last few videos and in the foundation, I told you about John Gallagher and Susan Garrett and myself and the paths that we've had through Product Launch Formula. And I've got those 10,000 Product Launch Formula owners and all those huge success. Well, there's a lot of different paths through these strategies and tactics, but the one common theme, the one common path for the most successful PLF owners, for the people who really take this and put it to use, is the sideways sales letter. That's the core strategy. So what it is, it's the opposite of the old style sales letter. So most of us have been to like an old school sales letter, right? That's where none of us ever go to a sales letter intentionally. We end up on a sales letter, and that page, if this is your page, your web page, that page will load up here. And then when it loads, this is the little scroll bar here off to the side. And the scroll bar is like, really big when the page first starts loading, or if you got a slow internet connection like I do. But then that sales letter starts loading up, and and it loads 10 pages and 20 pages, maybe 30 or 40 page long sales letter, and that little scroll bar gets really small as all those pages load, and you end up with this huge 30-page sales letter, even a 10-page sales. They're really long. And the thing is people don't tend to read those long sales letters. What they do is they grab that scroll bar and they scroll down to the bottom to check what the price is, and then they decide whether they want to scroll back up and maybe read your headline, maybe they'll read a few bullet points, then they'll come back down to the offer. That's what generally happens in the long form sales letter, the old school sales letter. And you know what? There is a time and a place for a long form sales letter. I'm not saying it's evil or you can't do it or it absolutely doesn't work. There's a time and a place for it, but this is sort of the old school marketing. And the sideways sales letter is where we take this long vertical sales letter, maybe it's 10 pages or 20 pages or 30 pages. We take it from being 10 pages long to we turn it sideways and we make it sideways. We make it a 10-day sequence. That's the core Product Launch Formula. It goes from one sales message where you send an email and you send people to your sales page, your sales video, your sales letter, and you hope that they buy. That's what I call hope marketing. This is the opposite of hope marketing. Hope is a fantastic word if you're like, say you're shipwrecked and you're just drifting out on the sea and you're hoping someone comes and rescue you. In that kind of situation, hope can literally keep you alive. But in business, you don't want to depend on hope. You want to engineer your success. And when you just email and send someone to a one-off sales letter or a sales video, and you're hoping they buy, that doesn't work. This is the sideways sales letter is the new style. That's what converts now. So this is my depiction of a sideways sales letter. And so what this is these three boxes are your pre-launch, what we call our PLC, your pre-launch content. So this is a classic, like an internal kind of launch, but conceptually, this will work for all your launches. And what you're doing is you're putting out content in each one of those. So this is your first piece of PLC, and your second piece of PLC, and your third piece of product launch, pre-launch content. So typically in your pre-launch content, what you're doing a lot of the same things that you do in a sales letter, but you're spreading it out over time. And what you're doing is you're building a relationship, you're delivering real value, you're delivering really great content as you move through this. So what the sideways sales letter allows you to do, it basically allows you to do everything you do down in here, but you get people to pay attention. And you're building rapport as you go along. It gives you a chance to hit the mental triggers. We'll be getting to the triggers a little later in this module. But these mental triggers are the things that cause people to act. There's things like, authority and reciprocity and social proof and scarcity and community. And in these pre-launch videos, they give you the opportunity to deploy those mental triggers and to build a relationship. And one of the things they really do is they really help you with the good old BS detector. So this is the BS detector, okay? And so, you know, there's sort of like, here's the red zone here. This is the BS detector. And if you don't know what I mean by BS, you can Google that and figure it out pretty easily. And, you know, and so basically think about when you walk onto a used car lot and the salesman is coming out to walk towards you, the thing is you generally, your BS detector is, you know, going off the chart. Like you don't necessarily believe him. You're up in the red zone, okay? Person's coming, you know he's coming to sell you, you know he's coming to sell you, you don't have a lot of faith that you can trust him, so you're just not gonna believe anything he says. Everything he says, you're gonna take with a grain of salt. And when someone comes to your old style sales letter, what happens is as soon as they see this page load, as soon as they see this headline, and they see this page, huge page loads here, their BS detector, you're in the red zone. They're not gonna believe what you got to say. Or they're gonna be very skeptical. But what happens, you come out with pre-launch content, you deliver some really great value, and then 3 days later you release another video that teaches and trains and gives them real value. Then what you do is here we've got the green zone here. So the green zone is like, say the green zone's like your mom is telling you, oh wow, I just ate at a really great restaurant, you should check it out. Your mom's telling you that, you're probably gonna believe, you don't think she's got an ulterior motive, you really trust her. So let's just say, there's sort of maybe 3 zones here. Maybe this should be a blue, but it's green, black, and red. And here is mom, okay, this is a mom telling you about the restaurant or whatever, something innocuous. You completely believe mom over here, you don't believe the salesman so much. They come to your long-form sales letter, they're in the red zone immediately. But over here, what happens is when you start delivering great content here and giving them real value in their lives, and you start hitting these mental triggers, then you go from being in the red zone and you drop, you move over. You might not go into the green zone like they believe you, like they believe your mom, but they believe you and they trust you a lot more and they start to like you. So the big thing about this sideways sales letter is what it basically moves people from skepticism to trust before you ever get to that sale. Okay, so here's the sequence. Typically, and I'm going to spend, as we go through Product Launch Formula, we're going to walk through all kinds of sequences, the timing of this, what to do in each one of these, what to say in each one of these pieces of pre-launch content. But basically, it might be in an internal launch. This might be your, day 1. This is your timeline down here. Day 4, day 7, and then here you open cart, and this is your sales video or your sales letter. And we might release that on, say, day 10. Again, I'm going to go through all this in detail, walk you through all of this as we go through Product Launch Formula. And different types of launches have different timing. That's just, it might be a real typical internal launch. But as you go through here, some of the things you might want to hit as you move through your first piece of pre-launch content, you might, that one is great for authority. Generally, if you're giving out great pre-launch content, you're teaching, that automatically establishes you as an authority. It's just an automatic thing. When you're publishing, whether it's publishing online or publishing in any form, as a publisher, people automatically look at you as an authority. And when you can just sit there and give out good content for free, you are seen as an authority. Another thing, you'll start to build up reciprocity here. Reciprocity, and that is if you give someone something, they will feel some kind of a debt to give you something back. So just by giving them great free content, you're starting to build this reciprocity debt, and that will come in handy down the road. Now I'm going to go through all these triggers and exactly how they work and how you use them and what they mean. Again, we're going through all that. So as we go through later in this module and as we go through the course. But I'm just being very conceptual here with the sideways sales letter. You also, you know, in that first video, you'll often get some social proof. You know, social proof is this idea if we see other people doing something, then we think it might be a good thing. You know, you'll get comments. You'll ask for comments on that video or on that piece of pre-launch content, and it will be on a blog, and people can see those comments. That's automatic social proof. You know, this first video, this first piece we call the opportunity. That's where you're teaching people that there's an opportunity for change. So just real big picture. You know, one of the greatest things I think you can do for someone is you can show them that they have an opportunity to change, that they can have an opportunity to lower their golf score, or they have an opportunity to make more money as a massage therapist, or they have an opportunity to have a better relationship or attract the love of their life, or the opportunity to play guitar. You know, you're showing them that they can change their life, that they can either, you know, get better at something, get more of something, reduce their pain. And so this one is really, the first piece is generally about the opportunity to get these great results, to get this transformation. The second one is where is what we call the transformation video. Let's go, transformation. And this is where you start to make it real. Often you'll have a case study, or you'll do some a lot more heavy duty teaching in the second video. And that one, you're getting more authority and reciprocity and social proof. There's this idea of likability, where people start to like you more. Often we have a lot of community. It starts to build up. The community can actually build up in the comments, just people helping each other or answering each other or building on each other's comments. You can really start to build some community in that second piece. This third one is the ownership experience. We'll just experience. And in that third one, we're really starting to give them the feel what it will like to own your product. And in this one, again, we're hitting authority and reciprocity, but we start to build in social proof is really big. I'm going to just abbreviate social proof, and scarcity really comes into play in this one. But what you do is over these 7 days or over these 5 days or 10 days, you really start to build real trust. And they trust you, they like you, and generally they want to buy from you. And by the time you get to your sales letter, your sales video, you still do the same kind of things you do in this long form sales letter, but by the time you get here, they are pre-sold. And that is really what the sideways sales letter is all about, is about getting them in. By the time you ask them to buy from you, they are pre-sold, they're ready to buy, they just can't wait to get out their credit card and give you their money. So the sideways sales letter, we have lots of different ways we deploy it. It's not always videos. It can be all kind. It can be PDF. It can be software. It can be blog posts. It could be all done via email. I have done plenty of launches that were all done via email. But these days, for the bigger launches, we're often doing video. But the idea is many different ways to deploy this, many different ways to deliver it, many different time frames. There's different styles of launches, but they all basically revolve around delivering some great pre-launch content before you ask for the sale. This one concept, the sideways sales letter, has completely changed marketing. That is the one concept that has driven the $500 million in sales that we've had with PLF owners. So that is the sideways sales letter. Nail this, get this down, and you win, and you're going to continue to win.